Tonight was the end of the line, the final WWE pay-per-view network special of 2016. Tonight was WWE Roadblock, end of the line. Hello, friends. Ridiculously Over Anthony Fleury here with you for this special edition of Ridiculously Raw, as we are going to recap the WWE Roadblock end of the line event. I am so very, very sorry for the delay. Had some things I needed to take care of, so we're all good to go. So, with all that being said, I am joined by the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, as we are going to bring you the recap of Roadblock End of the Line. Unfortunately, Girl MF Michael Fletcher will not be joining us tonight. He had work commitments beyond his control, so he will not be with us tonight, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in, guys. And it was the kickoff match. Rusev went up against Big Cass, and Rusev won that match via a countout in 4.5 minutes. That was a 1-star match. I mean, it was an okay but short horse brawl. This feud must continue. Unfortunately, it was not designed to allow either guy to shine, just to set up a rematch, and we will get a rematch of that tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see it again there. All right, let's start it off with the Raw Tag Team Championship matchup. Tag Team Champions, The New Day, defending the titles against Cesaro and Sheamus. The winners of the match in 10.5 minutes. And new WWE Raw Tag Team Champions, Cesaro and Sheamus. The streak is over. The New Day run has finally ended. After all that, there's nothing left for me to say except 3.5 stars. And I'm going to just say it like this. It's second best fight of the night. I have a tie for second best fight of the night, and this was one of them. 3.5 stars here. That was a very good match with a lot of energy and a creative finish, where the challengers were finally one step ahead of the crafty tag team champions. This was a great way to open the show. These two teams developed a good chemistry, and I really enjoyed the bout due to the great pacing and quality of false finishes. New Day got their record, but let's be realistic. It was time to make the switch. So that's really all I can say on that. So 3.5 stars. It's a tie for second best fight of the night. So with that being said, Phenom Michael Bullock, come on in. And how about it, man? The streak is over. We got new champions. New Day's run is over.
Yep, the New Day's run is over, and all I can say is it's about time. I mean, I know some people have said it was too long of a run, but obviously they wanted the New Day to hold on and to the titles and break that record for Demolition. And once they did, I think we knew it was eventually time to take the titles off of them. So 3.5 stars is my rating on the match. So yeah, I mean, now this is the way you kick off a show with something like this, and eventually, of course, New Day, I think they're going to get their rematch for the tag team titles. I think it could come tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, but we'll have to wait and see how all that plays out. But yeah, I mean, the New Day shouldn't be ashamed of themselves. They had one heck of a run as tag team champions, no doubt about it. I mean, some didn't like it, but it is what it is. So yeah, so 3.5 stars. Second best fight of the night. So that being said, Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, let's bring you in. Your thoughts on this opening bout, and New Day's run is over.
Like you said, it's about time. I mean, they've had it for quite a while now, so it's about time that they lose it. And we have a run of a new tag team. I'll agree with the rating, and there's not much more I can say about that other than If I check out for a few minutes, it's because I'm getting ready to leave work. So back to you, Florio.
All right. And with that said, we move on to our next match, and it was the 10-minute time limit. Sami Zayn going up against Braun Strowman, and it went the distance. It went the full 10 minutes, which actually technically means Sami Zayn he didn't really win the match per se, but he lasted the 10 minutes. He survived, whatever you want to say it. So it went the distance, the full 10 minutes. So, Michael Bullock, what do we think about this? Sami Zayn went the distance with the monster, Braun Strowman. Roar.
Roar. Yeah, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, I didn't enjoy this match. This to me was the worst fight of the night. I mean, it felt slow at times, and I'm actually not going to rate this match. It's an NA for me. I mean, I really could care less about it. So, I mean, I know some people would rate this, but me, I could care less about it. So, no rating for me. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
NA, slow. Um, Not even sure why Foley was out there in the middle of this, or why they even put it on the card if they were going to do something like this. So, dud for me. Take it away.
Well, I'm going to be real honest here. I know you two didn't really like the bout. We're all entitled to our own opinions here. But I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I enjoyed this match a lot more than these two did. I'll be real honest. So much to the point where, I could say, I could see NA. I can understand the NA and all that stuff. But if I were to give a rating,
the point is, Florio, Braun Strowman dominated most of the match, and it felt slow at times.
Yeah, it's definitely an NA. It's definitely an NA. But I'm going to be real honest, though. I love that they teased Foley throwing in the towel in the same city where his Hell in a Cell match took place, the same town that, for better or worse, immortalized Foley for his bumps off the cell. I really enjoyed this. Zayn is the first man to survive Strowman, and now you have to think that Strowman will be on the warpath because he couldn't finish Zayn. Zayn not only survived Strowman, but you can sell that he was close to a victory after the Holuva. I thought that both men played their roles very well, and that Strowman worked really hard in his first major singles match. And I thought they told the right story here. I felt that this was exactly what it needed to be, as Strowman played monster well, and Zayn was great as the resilient babyface. It's definitely an NA, but if I were to give a rating, I would actually rate it 3 stars for the effort, honestly, because of the story it told. So that's all I can say on that. So with all that being said, let's move on to our next match. One-on-one match, we had Seth Rollins going up against Chris Jericho. Seth Rollins wins the bout in 17 minutes and 35 seconds after the pedigree. So, Dee Woodson, Twisted Angel, your thoughts on Rollins and Jericho?
I actually was enjoying the match up until Kevin Owens came out, and then they started this whole Jericho hating KO bit. But I will give it, 3 stars for the effort, because it was like I said, it was a good match. I was enjoying it up until that time because they were pretty much tearing up the ring there. So that's about all I'm going to say about it. So take it away.
Between 3.25 to 3.5 for me. This would have been my other second best fight of the night here. This was a very good outing overall. Good back and forth and some creative counters. Thankfully, the Owens involvement was minimal, and the home stretch was strong. And that's really all you can ask for it. I mean, it was an entertaining match that was laid out to make Rollins and Jericho look even before Owens' interference backfired. There is still something missing with Seth Rollins as a babyface. the fans like him, but they're just not as hot for him as I envisioned they would be once they pulled the trigger on his babyface turn. Of course, it doesn't help that they botched his return by bringing him back as a heel when the fans were ready to cheer him. You remember, right around just after Extreme Rules. So that's really all I could say about it. Step 1 on the Rollins Revenge Tour, down in the books. He gets over Jericho. I mean, he wants another shot at Owens in the Universal Championship, and of course, the dream match, of course, him and Triple H, whenever they decide to do that. If I'm going to be real honest, I hope they save that for WrestleMania, but there is some part of me that's telling me that they may actually do that at the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, but only time will tell. So 3.25 to 3.5 stars. It's my other second best fight of the night, along with the tag team championship match. So Michael Bullock, Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho. Let's get a quick thought here.
Yeah, this was a 3.5 star match to me as well. I mean, Seth Rollins' revenge tour. I mean, he gets revenge on Chris Jericho for interfering in so many of his matches against Kevin Owens, and this is a match I really enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm sure the fans enjoyed it as well. So, so there's nothing else to say. I mean, you pretty much touched on it. So what's up next for them? We'll just have to wait and find out. So 3.5 stars, Florio. I say let's move on to our next matchup.
Triple threat match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Champion Rich Swann defending against challengers and former champions T.J. Perkins and the Brian Kendrick. The winner of the match in 6.5 minutes, and still the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, it's Rich Swann. Okay. I can only give it 2.75 stars. It was a pretty good match overall. They made the best of the time given and worked well together. It was smooth and effortless, but it unfortunately didn't have much heat. I feel that's due to the poor booking of the division overall. And yet again, they continue to make the division look like crap, and that's ridiculous. I mean, these guys deserve so much better. And I told you all when we did a review of Survivor Series, I was flabbergasted that they kept that they're keeping the cruiserweights on Raw, where you have 205 Live, which tapes the next night, and SmackDown Live would have really benefited from it. But the only realistic reason they kept the cruiserweights on Raw in the first place is because that Raw's a 3-hour show and they need to fill the time. Simple solution: cut it from 3 hours to 2, move it to SmackDown Live, work something out, because SmackDown Live could do wonders for these guys. So I'm sorry, but WWE is continuing to book the Cruiserweight division just like TNA does with the X division, although it's been getting better, but it still needs some work. So I know Michael Bullock's probably not going to want to review it because he's still on boycott mode. Is that true, Bullock, or do you actually want to give this a whirl? Or if not, I could just move on.
Stay true. I'm staying true to it. I mean, you just mentioned it, Florio. You just mentioned it. Raw continues to suck the air out of the cruiserweight division, and it's a damn shame. And until they start improving with this, I'm gonna have no say on the cruiserweight division, no matter how bad or how good the match is.
Fair enough. I had a feeling. I just wanted to be sure. You know me. So, Didi Woodson.
Yeah, that's the message, WWE. Improve it, or you're going to continue to hear me being silent on your cruiserweight division as long as it can. If it goes forever, you know what? So freaking be it.
Adapt or perish. That's all there is to say. So, Didi Woodson, would you care to share your thought on it, or do you want me to just move on?
All I'm going to say is it was boring.
And disappointing too, right?
Oh, yeah. Disappointed because it was boring. I'll give it, maybe a star and a half, but it's boring. It lacked luster. I
agree.
No interest. I got up and started cleaning house during that time because there was nothing else to do other than listen to my client that's finally went to bed, walking around mumbling.
Okay. So, you know what, DDB, that actually sounds like a much better rating to me. I'm actually going to move that down. I'm going to tweak that rating to star and a half, to from 1 to 1.5. And I'm actually going to call this the worst fight of the night. I actually thought the Zayn and Strowman stuff was actually better than this. But we got a payoff, though. We did get a payoff, though. Not only did we get did we see the return of Adrian Neville, but Adrian Neville turned heel. Yeah, heel turn. Adrian Neville. He attacked Rich Swann. He also attacked TJ Perkins. So I think it's safe to say Adrian Neville has just thrown his hat into the ring in the cruiserweight division. And I'll tell you what, they needed a shot in the arm when it comes to the cruiserweight division. They just got it in the form of Adrian Neville, and I think he can be the guy that can breathe some life into this lifeless division. And the longer they keep it on Monday Night Raw, the more lifeless it's gonna be. So that's all there is to say on that. So with that being said, let's move on to our double main event here. And coming up next, the match we're going to get into is the match that, honest to God, I felt should have been the true main event of this show, based on the stipulation and the whole 9 yards. But no, it wasn't. It was the co-main event, the Iron Woman match, the 30-minute Iron Woman match for the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair challenging Sasha Banks, and we actually. It was a 2-1 lead for Sasha Banks. Had a 2-1 lead, and then Charlotte tied it up in the final seconds to send it to overtime. It went to OT, but at the end of the night, the winner of the match, in a total of 34 minutes and 20 seconds, and once again, the Raw Women's Champion for the 4th time now, Charlotte Flair is the new women's champion. She wins it 3-2 in sudden death overtime. I believe Michael Bullock starts it off. So Michael Bullock, as the legendary Aerosmith once famously sang back in 1978, it's the same old story, same old song and dance. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it is, but you know what? This, to me, was the fight of the night, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this was awesome. I mean, we start off with both women not getting any scores when it came to it, and it wasn't until I think it was about the 20-minute period where Charlotte got the first fall, and then after that, Sasha Banks got tied it up with the first fall, and then Sasha breaks the tie, and you were thinking somehow Sasha was going to hold on, but nope. Charlotte got Sasha to tap out and at 2-2, and that's where it ended after the 30 minutes. And I channeled my my inner Jerry the King Lawler from WrestleMania 12 when Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels, when they had their 60-minute Iron Man match and they went the full distance, tied up, and I was like, we're going to overtime, and that's what we did, and Charlotte got Sasha to tap out, and we actually saw some blood in this match. Blood in the PG era. That's not PG. That goes without saying. So if I had to rate this, I would go somewhere between 4 to 4.5 stars is my rating on the match. I want to go 5, but I mean, I just wanted to see just a little more Shakespearean drama, and then perhaps I give it the 5. But it's 4 to 4.5. Dee Woodson, your thoughts on this? I mean, you are our resident expert in the women's division. Did this match impress you?
Oh yeah, it impressed me. I'll go 4.5 to even teetering to 4.25. they definitely knocked it out of the park. It definitely was not one of your ho-hum diva fights, although the ending was pretty predictable because we pretty much know, you know, it's going to be quite a while, if ever, that Charlotte loses at a pay-per-view. So we pretty much knew she was going to win tonight. But as far as rating it, as far as what they did, I mean, for this being their last time to tie it up together, this was, a real good way of doing it. Is definitely the match of the night. Um, it was good to see the two girls taking it, to, that 30 minutes and beyond. And, if Sasha could have just hung on, maybe a couple of seconds longer, then she probably would have won it without it going into the sudden death uh, overtime. But she tapped out right at that last second there, and that sent it into the overtime. And we all know, that anything can happen when you get to that point, and sure enough, it did. And um, Charlotte ended up managing to get that figure eight on there and get Sasha to tap out, and that was the end of it. And that's all she wrote. And we now have a 4-time champion again. So that's about all I'm going to say about it. So Florio, it's yours.
And one more thing before you talk about it, Florio. I mean, I had a feeling that that Charlotte was gonna win this, and the reason why, well, I think it's gonna set up for a future feud between her and Bayley for the women's title, especially after what we saw at the Survivor Series. So that's what I forgot to add when I had my 2 cents.
Right, and I'm sure you would have said that if you had been on our preview show last night, but nonetheless, I'm right there with you guys. It most definitely the fight of the night, and the only thing I have to say is, why wasn't this the main event? Why?
Why don't you go ask Kevin Bucktooth Beaver Dunn?
Oh yeah. Vince McDinkleberg and his Bucktooth Beaver buddy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah. It was probably those two dinks who probably had the well, actually no. Dink is putting it too nicely. It was those stupid idiot mutton heads that had to make that decision, and you know what? To Mr. McDinkleberg and his little Bucky Beaver buddy, Kevin Dunn.
You just made the list
of Tim Cornette for you two making this the co-main event instead of the main event of the evening, especially after the main event that we got tonight. You just made the list. Simple as that. You just made the list of Florio and Bullock. That's what you did. You just made the Bullock Florio list, and that's a list you do not want to be on. Trust me, you do not. And,
nope, you don't.
Of course, you know who's already at the top of the list. Those same two guys and their entire creative team for their god awful booking of the cruiserweight division. I mean, they were far and away the first ones on that list. Come on now. But you want to be dinks and you want to. I mean, I get it. You don't want to. You want to set up the old. Oh, let's send the fans home happy. And of course, having Charlotte win, of course, definitely would not send the fans home happy, especially those in the IWC. But I understand that. But hello, Blockbuster Video used to have that gimmick infringement.
And plus, this has been one of the. And I'll go as far as to say this is the rivalry of 2016.
The feud of the year, absolutely.
And for them to not even put it as the main event, I mean, that's just borderline ridiculous.
Flat out wrong. I mean, it's not that the match didn't deliver; it did.
Oh, and yeah, it did deliver. It's just where they put this is what's irked me.
Lazy booking.
They hardly ever put ladies at the main event, so
that's very true. That is very true. But
yeah, but with the way this rivalry has been, I mean, it deserved to be the main event, for goodness sakes. But yeah, Kevin Bucktooth Beaver Dunn and Vince McDinkleberg didn't have the guts or the balls, for that matter, to even do it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it deserved to be the main event, and you all don't even want to see my list because it's got the whole creative team plus those two idiots on there. So
Yeah, they're at the top of the
Well,
list.
it's mainly those two stupid idiots who are the reasons why they've been killing Monday Night Raw,
Yeah, stupid idiot.
especially
Yeah, stupid idiot Muttonhead.
especially with that. I mean, with the cruiserweight division, which I'm not going to get into because of my whole boycott thing.
Which I don't blame you for. But let's get into this. For those of you who are wondering about how it all went down, the first fall, like Michael Bullock said, did not emanate until 19 minutes and 45 seconds after Charlotte Flair hit a natural selection off the top rope, 1-0 Charlotte, and then just about 2 minutes, and then a minute and 55 seconds later, at 21:40, Sasha Banks with a head scissors takedown into a pinning combination for a 1-all, and then 2 minutes and 20 seconds after that, at the 24-minute mark, Sasha with the Banks statement. That made it 2-1 for Sasha, and then Charlotte Flair with 2 seconds remaining, with the figure eight. Sasha taps out, ties it at 2. It then goes into it was overtime. It went to OT, just like we saw with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart back in the inaugural Iron Man match in WrestleMania 12. And Charlotte Flair with another figure eight. Just about 5 minutes into that sudden death overtime. So Charlotte did it. She is now a 4-time women's champion. She is now 15-0 in one-on-one pay-per-view matches. Sounds like a streak to me. Sounds like a certain Phenom's streak, if you know what I mean. But that was at WrestleMania. This is pay-per-view wise in singles bouts. She's overall on pay-per-view, I believe now, including tag team bouts and everything, the whole 9 yards. She's now overall, I believe, 18-2 in those bouts. You believe that? She's only lost 2 pay-per-view matches. One of those, of course, that tag team match at Battleground when her and Dana Brooke lost to Sasha Banks and Bayley, better known as the Boston Hug Connection. And honestly, I can't even remember off the top of my head when her other loss was. But nonetheless, though, it looked like Sasha suffered the bloody nose when she caught a boot to the face after Charlotte kicked out early in overtime. This was the best match of the night, far and away. It wasn't perfect, but there was good drama. There was good Shakespearean drama and genuine suspense over which would win. I'm happy they gave us a definitive finish. It seemed odd that the broadcast team wouldn't know the rules and made it seem like it was up to the referee to decide what would happen after they finished tied at the end of regulation. You easily could have had Foley come out. You easily could have had Stephanie come out and, announce that overtime decision. But nevertheless, this was really fun. And hopefully this is the end of the line for these two for the time being. They've had a great feud, but it's time for a break given all the title changes and stipulation matches, as well as hot potato booking we've seen so far. So they made a big deal about the no rematch deal in the build and hope that they stick to it. They have had some wonderful matches, but they desperately need some time apart. They delivered again here, and while both were great, I feel that this was Charlotte's best singles performance from bell to bell ever. The work was smart, she was confident, and it just all clicked for her tonight. Charlotte's aggressiveness played off of the selling and emotion of Banks made for a great closing stretch. Excellent work from both ladies. I really enjoyed this and felt that they delivered big time. 4.5 to 5 stars, no question about it. Fight of the night, no doubt. So with that being said, let's move on to what was the actual main event, Yawn Traditional. WWE Universal Championship match. We had Kevin Owens defending against the United States Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. Roman's U.S. title, of course, not on the line. It was all about the Universal title. The winner of the match in 25 minutes and 20 seconds via a disqualification, it's Roman Reigns. Roman wins the match, but he does not win the title. You know the age-old rule. The only way a championship changes hands is via a pinfall or submission. That did not happen. Therefore, still your WWE Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. even though Roman won the match via a disqualification. Didi Woodson, you started off. Your thoughts on what ended up being the main event of this show here tonight, even though it honestly should not have been. Didi, are you with us? Well, I guess not. So I'll just take it here. Yeah, okay. 2.5 stars. That's all I can give it. Honestly. All I can say is, again, this just isn't fun anymore. It would have been interesting if Jericho had gotten Owens disqualified and it was left open in terms of whether he was doing it because he disliked him or if they were still aligned. At least then there would at least be some chance that the cheap interference finishes would be over. Instead, Owens and Jericho are besties again, and it felt like the pay-per-view main event was done to set up a Raw tag team main event. The powerbomb payoff was, while it was great, it just wasn't enough for that. So, yeah, like I said, 2.5 stars, a painfully bland and lethargic match designed to kill time until Jericho ran in. This felt like one of those Seth Rollins Authority era title defenses where they teased issues and then played LOL, we outsmarted you. This felt like a complete disappointment as a pay-per-view main event and came off as a Monday Night Raw TV main event at best. Unfortunately, I couldn't wait for it to be over, if I'm going to be real honest with you. So, and there were at times where it put me to sleep, honest to God. So, that's all I can say on that. So, 2.5 stars, and it just goes to show you why this did not deserve to be in the main event. I mean, I knew there was going to be nonsense involved, and honestly, they should have flip-flopped the two main events. The women should have closed out this show. Let's not kid ourselves. So, 2.5 stars, that's all I can give it. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on what ended up being a very main event? I told you.
2.5 stars. Nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, it's yours. Ugh, this sucked.
Right? So, yeah.
For this.
Oh, okay, there's Didi Woodson. Didi Woodson, your thoughts on the main event before we wrap up?
All I'll tell you is 2.5 stars, and that's about all I'm going to say about it.
Fair enough. And now we're going to move on to our overall thoughts on the show tonight. It was a very good show, I will admit it. I'm going to give it between 6 3/4 to the solid 7 out of 10. The recommendations for the show are Rollins versus Jericho, the tag team title match, and of course Charlotte and Sasha. They were all worth your time. The cruiserweight title match, for the most part, was fun and had a great post-match angle. The show was really solid, but would have been better if the main event had delivered. But it did not in any way. Owens' title run, outside of some fun stuff with Jericho, has not been good. Back in August, when Owens won the title, we asked the question, did WWE make Kevin Owens the man, or did they just put the title on him? Right now, he's just a dude with a belt. I feel that the show was average mostly, which is disappointing because I felt that it had a lot of potential going in all honesty. But overall, the women's match and the tag title change felt like the most meaningful moments of the night. And I also enjoyed Adrian Neville's heel turn. The rest just felt like something you could see on Raw most weeks. So, and considering the good shows we had been getting for the last few weeks, I had some very high hopes for this show, but unfortunately it wasn't this show didn't really give me that high of a feeling like I thought it would. Even though it was a fine show. It was a very good, it was a solid show, but it was just unspectacular at times. The cruiserweights continue to be a mess. Main event was god awful, and that's all I can say about that. It felt like an authority. It was a main event that was chock full of authority shenanigans, where it should have been chock full of Shakespearean drama. I mean, it was fine, but no, that did not deserve to be the main event. Sasha and Charlotte should have been the main event. Period. End of quotation, end of statement. 6 3/4 to 7 out of 10. Michael Bullock, your overall thoughts on Roadblock, end of the line tonight?
I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. I mean, this was I mean, this was just an average pay-per-view. I mean, yeah, you did have some high. I mean, the fight of the night being the Iron Man match with Charlotte and Sasha, and you had some other good matches too, but everything else was just pretty much bleh. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Nothing else for me to say. So I don't know if Dee Woodson is around to give her. Oh, Dee Woodson, it's yours. I'm sorry.
6 out of 10. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, fair enough. And with that, that's going to put the ball on this edition of this special edition of Ridiculously Raw, the recap of Roadblock End of the Line. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, we're going to be back with you tomorrow night, immediately following Monday Night Raw, as we will sort out all the fallout from Roadblock End of the Line on Monday Night Raw as part of our traditional Ridiculously Raw broadcast, where we'll review Monday Night Raw. Maybe we'll start the road to the Royal Rumble. I'm hoping for that. And then I'll also have my reviews of 205 Live and that special edition of Impact Wrestling, Total Nonstop Deletion. You'll get my thoughts on that. Can't wait to get into that, as that was an interesting show, to say the least. And then Tuesday night, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk. It's right now scheduled for 10, but we'll check in with MF tomorrow night and see what the actual time is. It'll be either over on his channel, RaceFan95, as we will review SmackDown Live, and then Fletch will have his Mikey's Mindset on ROH, Lucha Underground, maybe some other things. We'll see what he has in store for us. And then on Friday night, we have another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday, where we are going to get into Week 16 of the NFL. We will recap the Giants-Eagles Thursday night game, and then we'll review preview, I should say, the other games of Week 16, and then, of course, our newest power rankings. And there will be some shakeups. I'll tell you that right now. There will be some shakeups based on what we saw tonight. So that'll do it for this. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. So until tomorrow night for our traditional Ridiculously Raw show, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, for the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson, and in spirit, Guru MF Michael Fletcher, and the man himself, the Hardcore Pipe, I'm Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And until tomorrow night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching the WWE Roadblock End of the Line 2016 recap edition of Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, like I always say, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.